Welcome everyone to another episode in the Perspective Drawing series. In this video we are going to be learning about 2 points perspective. In the previous episode we had taken a look at 1 point perspective, meaning those drawings were created using only one vanishing point. In this episode we are going to be drawing using 2 vanishing points, 2 points perspective. So let's start with a simple example and draw out some boxes. Here I establish the level of the horizon line. I'll just place it across the centre and then I add 2 vanishing points. Now for the purpose of this example, I am going to place them at either side to the edge of my drawing space. These are as far apart as I can get them for you to be able to still see them, but it's important to realise that when drawing in perspective, you'll often find that the vanishing points are away from the drawing space, meaning you'll likely have to estimate the convergence. The distance between these 2 points is important. If they are too close together or even too far apart, your drawing will be distorted. In this example, these points are fairly close together, but it shouldn't be too bad. A good way to deal with it is just to reduce the scale of what you are drawing. There is no set rule or specific distance between these 2 vanishing points. You are free to work out what is suitable for your drawing. Here you can see how these boxes are converging to both points. If we was to compare it to the example we had created to show 1 point perspective, you'd notice that in 2 points perspective, all the facades are converging, unlike in 1 point perspective where one facade remains flat. If we was to rotate one of these boxes, it would transition into 2 points perspective. So now that we have taken a look at the usual box drawing example, let's create another drawing. You'll find that most artwork is done using 2 points perspective. Here I am going to draw a building using these 2 vanishing points. I begin by constructing some boxes and lightly drafting in some additional elements whilst considering the perspective. Here I'm using a ruler and bringing my lines from each of the vanishing points. Also pay attention to how I draw through these boxes, showing all of the edges and getting a better idea of the volume that I'm working with. This is important when it comes to construction because I'm able to see through the box. I can easily build on this. An example with this drawing is how I add the porch onto the front of the house. I also add an extension on the side of the house which is pushed a little bit further back. It's also slightly obstructed from view because of the porch extruding forward. This is also due to the angle of this building, and this is in 2 points perspective, so we have both of these sides visible and converging to the vanishing points. Also notice how everything starts to reduce in scale as it converges. This can easily be seen when I draw the windows on this house. I also use some duplication techniques to construct this, but I will be covering those in a later video. I have a more in-depth breakdown of this drawing process on Patreon if that is something you are interested in. But now that I have accurately constructed the building in perspective, I start to work into this and render the drawing. So that is one example of a fairly simple drawing in 2 points perspective. So now let's create another example, but this time I'm going to place one of the vanishing points away from the drawing space. This is often the case when drawing. Sometimes both vanishing points are away from the drawing space, meaning you'll have to estimate the direction of the converging lines. I still begin by establishing the horizon line. Knowing that the vanishing points will be positioned on that line, I'm able to jump right into the drawing. By placing my first line, I'm already able to estimate the location of the first vanishing point. Remember, these parallels are directed to the vanishing points, so by taking a ruler and continuing that line, it assists me in making a good guess as I continue to draw. In this example, there is the left vanishing point visible in this drawing space. I have also placed the horizon line higher so that I am drawing this from above. Like always, these simple construction lines will allow me to draw this more accurately. Another useful thing to consider is that your lines will start to angle and level out horizontally as they get closer to that horizon line. Just knowing that will assist you greatly. There are technical methods and ways to accurately work in a situation like this, involving grids and more advanced techniques. I will be covering those later in this series. For now, this example gives a good idea of what you can expect when drawing. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate. If your ability to estimate the convergence is close enough, then the drawing should look correct. And a lot of the time you'll likely just be freehanding your drawings. In some cases, you won't even have any construction lines. You might also notice that a lot of these early examples remain very geometric, consisting of flat surfaces and hard edges. These subjects are often easier to draw in perspective, but as we progress through these videos, we will begin to draw more organic shapes and forms. If you would like to see a more in-depth look into the process of drawing in perspective, then be sure to check out the Patreon page where I create some additional content. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, then please leave a like. Be sure to subscribe with the notifications on to stay up to date, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. You can also find me on various social media. All of those will be listed in the description. That is all from me today. I will see you in the next video.